The chairman of the US Federal Reserve has conceded that raising interest rates too quickly could push the US economy into recession. Joining me is our business reporter, Edward Boyd. Ed, Chairman Jerome Powell says an economic downturn is possible for America.
Yeah, this was overnight where he appeared before US Congress, and he's appearing again tonight. So he's got 2 days of testimony. It's a regular appearance that he does. But basically the problem in America is the same in Australia. Inflation is spiralling out of control and central banks need to bring it down. So Jerome Powell overnight said there's a potential that they may need to lift the cash rate by a full 1 percentage point at some point over the course of this year to help bring down inflation. But if they raise the cash rate too quickly and too rapidly, it'll stop the American consumer spending in stores and could potentially trigger a recession. So overnight he conceded that a recession is actually a possibility for America. Take a listen to his comments.
Do you agree with the perspective that if interest rates go too high too fast, it could drive us into a recession?
It's certainly a possibility. It's not our intended outcome at all, but it's certainly a possibility. And frankly, the events of the last few months around the world have made it more difficult for us to achieve what we want.
Interesting that he wasn't ruling out a full percentage rate hike, though.
That is pretty interesting because 1% is a pretty large increase for the cash rate. Obviously, the central bank in America just lifted their interest rates by 75 basis points, which is quite a lot, but a full percentage point would be a much steeper increase to the cash rate. That's something that we have seen in Australia before. More than 30 years ago, the cash rate was going up by about 1 percentage point back then, so it's not unlikely that central banks are possible to do it. So there is a chance they could actually do it. US Central Bank may potentially need to do that later this year, Laura.
It's kind of been ruled out by our RBA though. So what do we expect next month?
Less than 2 weeks until the next cash rate decision in Australia. It's on the 5th of July. And look, the Reserve Bank governor spoke just a couple of days ago saying he's expecting the cash rate will probably go up between 25 and 50 basis points. Most economists believe it's going to be by at least 50 basis points in 2 weeks' time. So cash rate's going to keep going up in Australia. And now the expectation is it'll probably be at 2.5% to 3% by the end of this year. And if that's the case, we're going to need to see 50 basis point lifts pretty much until the rest of this year, Laura.
Okay, Ed, thanks so much. We'll check in with you after 10 to see how the market reacts. Thanks.